Yes.
Yep, looks good.
Okay, sorry. Thanks, guys. All right, so welcome to Branding 201. Here we go. So thank you first and foremost to the County of Haliburton and to Haliburton County Development Corporation for making these sessions happen, and to you guys for all of your time and attention today. Questions are allowed throughout, especially during the workshop portion. So we're going to have about half of this today is actually a real working session, so you guys can start developing your brand books. Also, feel free to pop questions in the chat. Heather can monitor it while we're presenting, and then if anything comes up where you're nervous to just pop in randomly, then we'll monitor the chat too. So what's the plan today? 2 weeks ago, we did the Branding 101 session. That's actually available on YouTube. So if you missed it, you can check it out. It was more about, what is branding overall? How does it fit into marketing? Sort of the bigger vision for that. Today, we're going to talk about branding your business specifically and developing a brand playbook, and then how that all comes together. And then, as Heather mentioned, tonight at 5 p.m., you can come meet us and other program facilitators at Castle Antiques for a mix and mingle and ask us questions. And we can take this all a little bit further in person. I won't go into again who we are, but this is just a little bit about Jeff and I, the client work we've done in the past and what we do now. We talked about it a bit at our 101, but really we work with a number of clients on all of their brand marketing activities, from press releases to social media content creation, website management, etc. We both have 20 years collectively in the industry, and through past education and professional experience, have done communications and marketing plans for lots of large companies Canada-wide. So I guess I did just talk about us, even though I said I wasn't going to, but there you have it. So let's dig into it. What is your brand? Your brand is your biggest asset. As we said in our last session, your brand is not just your logo, although that's an important part of the package. But your brand really, in short, is what you're marketing. It's your business itself, and it's how you communicate what your business is to the outside world, and also to your own team members. If you have a strong brand and you're comfortable with that, sharing, what your business is, speaking to your business, describing it, then all the marketing pieces really fall into place more easily, which is why, really feeling comfortable with that brand is as important as it is. So today we'll help you define your brand so that you can confidently market it and speak to it as most knowledgeable as you can, and get the thoughts you have about your business out of your head and onto paper. So let's talk about this for a minute. Congratulations, you're on the cover. We know that in the world of small business, owners are challenged by lack of staff and everything that goes into sort of the day-to-day operations of business. But what we've seen time and time again is that marketing gets handed off to a junior team member or even a student or an intern because, quote unquote, they know social media. But we will tell you that is a bad idea. Every piece of marketing promotion that you do, whether it's on Instagram or in a local newspaper, imagine it's the cover of the Globe and Mail. Who would you want writing that article for you? Would you want it to be an intern that's been on your team for a month? Probably not. So don't give away your cover story to your most junior team members. It's not to say that with some training, a junior team member can't communicate for you or post for you, but just because they are, young and familiar with a particular social channel does not mean that they're experts at it or know how to communicate your brand messaging, your business messaging. So really you need to protect your brand first and foremost, as it's your valuable asset. So always ask yourself, who would I put in charge of writing this Globe and Mail cover story? We did our best to find a representation of what a busy small business owner looks like. And you're probably asking the question, but where do I find the time to do this marketing? So we know it's really overwhelming to add marketing as another layer on top of everything else you're already doing. But you can find the time by creating the strategy and, of course, this brand playbook that we're going to talk about today, so that you as an owner can refer back to the playbook, back to some of your core business values, and also share with your key team members. It can also be used as a great onboarding tool for new staff, so they're educated in how to talk about your brand. It's so important to train, your whole team, because, it's a great way to build word of mouth about your business. So if you have, a restaurant and you have new staff coming on board, they're able to talk to their friends and family about some of the offerings or the vibe of your restaurant. That goes a long way in helping promote, locally and within your organization as well. So let's start creating your brand playbook. We're gonna show you some examples before we actually dig into it. But your best toolkit really is your playbook. It's enduring, it's evergreen. It'll have everything you need in it for your team, freelance designers, etc. So the idea is that, it's a pretty simple book. We'll show you some examples, but if you were to, hire a designer to do some promotions for you, they'd be able to refer to this and understand your logo, your tone, your vibe, your color, and it gives them something to work with that's not starting from scratch. Branding is also all about consistency. You're consistently communicating the same messages using similar templates, standard logos, and colors. This is so that your market, your consumer, can become really familiar with your brand. Sometimes when you're marketing and you're sharing your message, it can actually feel a little boring and monotonous if you're doing it every day, but that probably means that you're doing it right. Because that's, that standard, the message may change a little bit, but the look and feel are generally the same, and the language you're speaking is the same. For those of you who love to be organized, clear communication planners, you'll love branding. And then remember the 7-time rule. It's now 90 times. So what is that? Back in the 50s and 60s, newsrooms, marketers said that a brand had to be seen 7 times in order to be remembered. Now, with all the news and information that's coming with us through Facebook, Instagram, magazines, television, something needs to be seen an average of 90 times before it resonates. That may seem overwhelming, especially if you're a small business, but just know that it actually doesn't take much to be seen 90 times, especially with all of the different channels that are out there now. And the good news is you don't always need new content. So you don't need to have, 5 new posts a day with 5 new messages. You can, it's consistency again is key. If you have a special that's on Wednesdays, or you have a music night on Fridays, or, get those messages out consistently, because it'll take a number of weeks before those promotions and those posts start to gain traction. Again, the 90 rule. So just a couple examples before we dive in of sort of brand consistency. This is one of our clients, Eagle View Events, just a snapshot of their Instagram. So we have, developed a brand playbook that speaks to how the logo is used, sort of the colors that are used in promotions. So you can see like very muted. We have some standard templates as well here that are, wedding tips and tricks. So you can just see by looking at this sort of the consistency of that channel, because they're following standard brand guidelines. Another local example, apologies again, this is another one of our clients, but on the left-hand side, this is for chalk, they were chalk woodworking. On the left-hand side, you can see they were using a lot of dark green, black, white, and it was sort of had like a moodier vibe. They recently rebranded to just chalk. And you can see on the right-hand side now, it's much whiter, brighter, more space, and the consistent use of that new logo. Now they did keep with the green, the blacks, and the grays, but they've just like toned it back a little bit with the new brand guidelines. So you can see sort of a shift here, just the general look and feel through Instagram. And it's not just about Instagram and social media. We wanted to show you another example. This is Abbey Gardens, not one of our clients, but we love them just the same. Their website here, just a sort of screenshot, and then behind it is a screenshot of their Instagram. So you can see like they use a lot of oranges, like natural sort of muted tones. Obviously food is front and center for them. So just to be able to kind of see that they've got a similar look and feel regardless of the channel. the Voima Group, a little known agency. We just thought we'd show you as well, like this is our website at the front, and then our Instagram beside, so you can see, like, obviously very heavy on the purple, bold usage of our logo. So it's got sort of, again, that consistent look and feel regardless of the medium. And then this is Ohm and Eat, which is in Minden. Again, it is not one of our clients, but we thought their promotions are really consistent across the board. So we've got like an Instagram promotion here, a newspaper promotion that they've done, Facebook promotion as well. And they've got those similar sort of 3 colors. They've got their logo consistently used. If you read the content of each of their posts, they've got like a particular vibe going, which is kind of cool as well. So I don't know if they have a brand book, but if not, they're doing a good job.
Amanda,
so what's in your brand playbook? Yeah.
Are you able to
go ahead
on slideshow view? No.
Hold on a second. Oh, sorry. Is that the full screen now? Heather?
No, it's showing like the slides on the side as well.
That's really weird. Give us a second. Yes. Is that full screen now?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, guys, that's super distracting. So now we're going to just go back a bit. Apologies. Okay, so what's in your brand playbook? So ultimately what you'll have is a document that's not a lot of pages. It'll be, it could be a Word document that's, 3 pages long. It could be PowerPoint that you convert to a PDF that's just like 6 pages long. It's generally very concise. But what it has is your brand purpose and vision, your tone, your vibe, your voice, the business culture, your logo and your color palettes, key messages and talking points, and then your compass, sort of the questions that you would always ask yourself when you are making business decisions. And then a couple optional things you can add into your brand playbook are promotional samples. So kind of what maybe your social media might look like or what a newspaper ad might look like. And then also you can add in overall experience. So if you had a restaurant or a store, you could have some photos of or even mood boards on sort of what that overall experience should feel like for your customer. I'm just going to show you now, hopefully the screen share works, 2 examples of Starbucks and Walmart's brand playbook. So you guys can see kind of what we're getting at here. So let's go to Starbucks. Can you guys see this? I can't see you, so someone's gonna have to say out loud if they can see it. Sorry.
Yeah, looks good.
Perfect. So this is Starbucks brands guidelines, and they live online. So you can see sort of their overall philosophy, which is very simple. And then when you get into the contents on the right-hand side here, you can see logos, colors, their voice, typography, illustration, photography. So sorry to go through that really fast, but that's just sort of simply what we're trying to get at today for you guys. And we'll show you also the Walmart example. Can you see this now full screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is a Walmart example, and it's basically they don't call it their playbook; it's their brand guidelines, but it's sort of the same thing. So they get into their mission, strategies for success, But one thing that I really like, and I wanted to show you guys this example, is their logo and palettes. So they have primary color palettes. This is great for designers. We have this for all of our clients. So there'd be a sample of the logo, and then there would be 3 to 5 colors that you would use, and it would be the specific color. So that when, so the codes for CMYK or RGB, so that when, you know, a designer's designing something for you, it's exactly the colors that you would use for your brand. Walmart's got primary and secondary. You know, Walmart's a big guy, so we generally recommend 3 to 5 for our clients. But we just wanted to show you kind of where this is all leading at the end of the day. They've also got a section about on voice and tone, you know, simple, smart, human, you know, really simple descriptions for that tone. So I'm going to close those up and go back to sharing our presentation again, which hopefully is still full screen. So let's start actually creating your playbook. If anyone has questions, actually, before we dive into how to do this, does anyone have questions about sort of what we're trying to achieve here? And you'll have to actually talk because we can't see you guys on our screen. I'm sorry. Alrighty.
I don't see any in the chat either, so.
Awesome, thank you. So keep in mind, again, consistency is key. That's why you exist. So we're going to start workshopping this, and we're really going to strip down to the basics. So we're going to ask you guys to just remember to keep it clear, concise, simple. You do not need to share this with, we won't even ask anyone to share this, but it'll help you go down that road to getting your brand playbook. And we can regroup as a team afterwards, or one-on-one if you'd like in the future. So as I noted at the beginning of our call, just grab paper, pen, or even your phone to take some notes on, whatever you're comfortable with. We'll dive into it. I'm going to have Jeff dig into step 1 of this.
Okay, step 1A, forming brand purpose. So why did your business exist and what purpose does it serve?
So this may seem like a very simple question, but you need to be able to answer this. So, you know, really, what are you out there trying to do with your business? And we will give you guys a couple of minutes to answer that question. So we'll move into, sorry, that was pretty quick, but I just don't know how much time everyone needs. We can go back through these steps at the end if you guys want, but we'll move to step 2, section B. So step 1, section B.
Yeah, step 1B, forming brand vision. Where do you see your business growing, developing in the coming months?
So for this one, think about specifically in the next 6 to 12 months, just jot down where you see a key area of growth or a particular area of development you might like to move into. For this one, we'll give you guys 2 minutes because it's kind of a biggie. 2 minutes goes fast.
Step 2, tone, vibe, and voice. How do you speak to your audience? In what fashion do you represent yourself? Casual, fun, calm, educational, informal, etc.
So for this one, we'll probably give you about 1.5 minutes, I guess, to answer, but how do you could also do, how do you speak now to your audiences, through social media or through your website, or, how do you want to, speak to your audience? We'll move on to third step now, which is
The culture. Describe your company culture. Do your internal values match with your external experience? Do your employees share the same experience as customers do?
So for this one, it could just be a yes or no, but we kind of really want you to expand a little bit more. So do you feel like yourself, I guess if you're a self-employed or one employee, or your team, really kind of emanate the values of your company also to your consumers? So when your customers come, are they experiencing that same vibe that you are putting out? And what does that vibe look like? And what are some of your internal values too that might help if you want to write down sort of some key values that matter to your business? This one also could be a bit aspirational, not to interrupt your thought, but maybe it could be, where do you see your culture in the coming months? Maybe it's not where you're at right now. I feel a bit like Dora the Explorer, just staring straight into the screen, waiting for you guys to answer. Okay, we'll move on to step 4. We can go back through these because I know we're trying to move pretty quickly.
Step 4 is visuals and imagery. Does your logo accurately represent your business? Is it clear, literally visually clear so you can see the difference? Or are your colors consistent? No more than 3 to 5, including black and white.
So for this one, when we're talking about clarity of your logo, it should be something that can be seen from a distance. It should be something that's got a nice background so that people with visual impairments can even see it. You should avoid like italicized names. And then are you using consistent colors? So like we say, we recommend no more than 3 to 5, including black and white, but to make sure that you're not, each time you're creating social image using different colors and just whatever strikes you that day. So again, this could be a yes or no, but we'd really like you to list maybe the colors that you're using and if you think your logo needs more work or if you're happy with it.
Step 5, key messages and talking points. Write down 3 differentiators of your business and offering.
This one, again, we're gonna give you 2 or 3 minutes for. It's pretty key to your brand book and your tone and vibe and all of that. A really strong brand, you should be able to identify without even really seeing the logo, but experiencing the content. So, really think about what are the 3 big pieces that are unique to you and your business that maybe a similar business doesn't have, or that you aspire to.
Step 6, compass. Again, write down 3 things you won't compromise on. Then turn them into questions. For example, our core customers are ages 20 to 23, ages 30. Does this business decision serve my core customer?
So the point of this one with your compass is at the end of your brand book, you're going to end up with 3 to 5 questions that you'll always ask yourself when making any business decision. So, you would be talking about, does this reach my core customer of, like Jeff said, my audience is in their 20s. So, should I engage with the social network that reaches an audience of 50 plus? Another example could be you want to just serve a particular area, or you want to stick to, a certain core product. Will this business decision be in line with those things that you will not compromise on? This one will give you like 3 minutes for, because it's biggie. Maybe next time we need some background music for this. And the last piece we'll take you to is the final step 7, which is optional.
Brand playbooks include visual samples of social media posts and or of customer experience.
So this isn't really something you need to think about now, but it would be good to have some samples of social posts, ads you'd like to see or ads you've done in the past, and also photos of that customer experience. Maybe it's, you know, the best day that you had your customers on out on paddle boards, or, you know, enjoying your food or enjoying your store. To have that sort of ultimate experience visually shown in your brand playbook is helpful. So creating it now from here, I mean, this is a little difficult to do in a quick workshop, but what you would really do now is take the answers to each of those 6 steps or 7 steps if you choose to add in the optionals, and put them into one document, expand on them as needed, but keep it very simple. The playbook should then include your brand purpose and vision, your company tone and culture, your logo, including most importantly, that specific color palette, some key messages and talking points. So you guys threw them together today, but you would want to take some time to flesh them out and really have 3 to 5 key talking points. You can also have a mission or vision statement in there as well. And most importantly, your compass. At the end of the brand book, you should have 3 to 5 questions that you ask yourself that are those things that you're not willing to compromise on.
I mean,
basically, yeah, sorry.
There's just one comment about like that compass point 6 was a really tough question to answer.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to just maybe speak a little bit more to that point, or your experience with other clients, or if anybody wants to sort of unmute and have that conversation.
Sure. So we'll go back to that question actually. So the compass, that is a tough one. So I'll try to think of some good examples from what we've seen from other playbooks without sharing
that
too
was
much.
Me. That was Carly.
Okay,
You know.
okay. Well then, Carly, let's speak specifically to your business, like your yoga paddleboarding business, for those who don't know. So maybe there's certain things you won't compromise on, like you decide, I want my business to stay in cottage country. I want a certain affluent client. I want the experience to never be less than 90 minutes. You know, these are, you just sort of can plan. I think the best way to think of it actually is, what would the ultimate experience look like for your customer that you can deliver? And what are the elements that go into that you're not willing to compromise on, so that the experience of anyone engaged with your business always is sort of top notch. And that would help with future business decisions if you have those 3 to 5 questions to ask yourself in the back of the book. We can help you guys one-on-one craft those. Like, this isn't the end. You can reach out to us specifically. We know it's difficult to do a workshop like this with 20 participants and try to get everyone on the same page. So we can help you formulate those questions for sure. Or if you want to come talk with us tonight at Castle Antiques, even better. But does that help a little bit, Carly, and everyone else on the call?
Yeah, it does.
So once you've formulated all of these pieces, we recommend turning it into a shareable PDF. Again, it could be 3 pages, it could be 5. It's not lengthy, but it's something you can share with your team, freelancers, you know, anyone really doing work for you. Unfortunately, they're not usually public documents for small businesses like Starbucks of the world and Walmart share them. That's why we were able to show those examples. But for smaller clients, they're usually kept a little bit on the down low and part of an onboarding process, usually orientation with staff. and executing the brand playbook. So once you have that, what on earth do you do with it? Well, you can plan all of your marketing around it. You can create standard templates for your marketing channels and vehicles. So you can look back in your playbook and say, you know, what colors did I decide I was going to use? What tone am I speaking in? What are some of my keywords? You can even have a word cloud in your playbook. That's some keywords that speak specifically to your business. You can build out a strategic marketing plan using language from your playbook and building out some targets for who might you advertise with, where might you find new audiences. You can ensure that your existing activities through your website, through your social media, follows your playbook and it's not going off point or off brand. And if it is, it's not the end of the world, because sometimes a brand playbook is a bit of an inspirational or aspirational thing. So you can move your existing marketing activities in the direction of your playbook over time. SEO, very important. You can pull keywords from your playbook and incorporate that into your SEO. If you're working with an SEO company, you can give them some of your keywords. Again, your vibe, your tone, all of that can be unique to your SEO activities. You can hold an information session with your team. So this is probably the most important, especially if you have a large team, to say, you know, we understand, you know, all of you are quite familiar with our business, but, you know, we've established this playbook now. It's kind of a sounding board and a standard place for everyone to work from, so that they can understand your team, can communicate some of your key messages, and also understand your tone and your vibe. One question we get a lot about brand playbooks is, does it change? So it really shouldn't change that often, because you want it to be sort of your compass and your guiding light. But you should revisit it every 3 months just to ensure that you're on track and that the book doesn't need minor tweaks. There might be, maybe there's just a whole new audience that's working really well for you, or a whole new set of customers. So you can feel free to make that change and adjust your book. If you decide to refresh your brand or entirely rebrand, then we recommend a whole new brand playbook, obviously. But otherwise, it just does become your guiding light and a regular document that you refer back to. So now I will put it on screen so we can actually see you guys. But we just want to know if there's questions. That's the end of our presentation. So we are happy to go through, questions. We're happy to go through some of those guiding points, 1 through 6 again. And also the other thing we would recommend doing is Googling other playbooks as well, so that you can see how simple they really are once you pull them together. But I think from here, it's a matter of you sitting and expanding on those questions that we gave you 30 seconds to 2 minutes to answer about your business. So
Can you maybe just go off of screen share?
yes.
Thanks.
Okay, so that is a brand playbook in 45 minutes or less. I'm sorry, guys. It's really, you know, it's again hard to go through all those key points, but hopefully you understand the direction and the purpose, and are excited to create your own playbooks.
Does anyone have maybe like a key takeaway from the presentation that you would be willing to share, either in the chat or just unmuting?
Okay, I'll talk again. I have a question about businesses that kind of are like multiple things in one. So for me, I'm paddleboard yoga. So it's always like a paddleboard yoga class. I also do just paddleboarding, but I don't do just yoga. Like I don't teach yoga in a studio. It's strictly on the water stuff. And so when I first started this business, I was in the, I think I mentioned this before, like in the yoga realm of it. And like, yes and no, right? Like I want to embrace fun and playfulness and adventure and trying something new and being outside and the nature and that part of it, and not like not like I also don't want to be the one of those yoga people who like downgrades yoga, but I don't want it to be about how you're specifically doing the pose. I want it to be about the experience, not can I do a headstand on a paddleboard or can I do tree pose. And I feel like when I first kind of started everything, like my content has kind of changed that way. I still talk about yoga as well. But as far as like my branding and my logo was very like more yoga like.
Right.
And like yes and no, right? Like it's a part of it,
Yeah.
but it's not all of it. So like when people have multiple things, like how do you know if your logo represents it or what colors to even go with? Like I know about the colors and what colors bring out different emotions and all that jazz, right? But still, how do you know like what's right?
Well, I don't know that you always know what's right, but you can tell what's resonating with people for the most part, I think, with your logo. Generally, let's talk about logo first. Generally, word of mouth feedback is key, and especially with your target audience. So you will have people say how much they like your logo, like unprompted, generally tells you you're on the right track. You can ask people what they think of it. You can do a like a group. Oh my gosh, what's the word? Like a survey, basically, to get feedback on your logo. We've done that before for companies that are rebranding. And in terms of tone, like fun, informative, you don't want to be too, classic yoga, perhaps, or you don't want to be too technical. You can also build out your tone and vibe with percentages. So you can say, as a guiding principle, 70% of my posts say will be fun, 30% will be educational / informative. So you can work on some percentages around the type of content that you're doing. So you don't have to say, I'm always going to be fun and sassy and whatever. Some of them could be just straight up health tip or, the way you should pose specifically. Does that help at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I think I'm somewhat on track there, because I really try to like pick my categories and like disperse them, because
Right.
yeah. And also like when it's just you and you're not a business, you do want to, and as a teacher, like when you're a teacher, certain people are going to come to your classes because they like the way that you teach, and certain people aren't because they don't like the way that you teach. Like I know that from being a student who goes to classes, right? So making sure that I show up as myself, even though that's like so scary. But
well, you make a really good point, Carly, and really that's probably the key to all of this, and the key to the brand book is you'll never be everything to everyone, which is why you have the playbook, because you're specifically designing what your business is, what's your differentiator, how do you speak to people. And if 20% of potential people aren't interested in that, then they're not for you, and you'll ultimately be more successful going after those core audiences that do feel your vibe and do want to engage with your business over trying to appeal to the masses, which is very hard to succeed. I would say impossible, especially for a small business. Lauren has a hand up.
I kind of forget my question now, but it was so I work for Search Community Services, and for the farmers market. I also have my own business, but I won't even go there because that's just like I never mind about it. But yeah, so Search has like all of these different things going on all the time, and I do think they are like doing a branding thing or hiring someone to do that. So, but I don't know. I post on the social media, so I was just interested in this workshop just to just to learn from some people that are professionals. And I liked what you said about how important it is to be consistent. And I like do try for that, but it's just hard when you're doing so many different events all the time. And yeah, so I do like event coordinating there. But yeah, just trying to keep it all like bistro branded, but the events are also different. So yeah, I don't know. And then like, who do you appeal to? It's like, well, you appeal to, many different kinds of groups of people. And
Yes.
yeah.
So we have worked with clients and businesses who sort of have, an umbrella brand, but then maybe serve 3 different purposes. So you can build it out, not to complicate your brand document, but you can build out like we were saying to Carly, the different types of communication, the different groups potentially that you're after. One of our clients is a restaurant, an accommodation, and an event space. And, they appeal to different people in different ways, but we still have pretty consistent branding across the board. So there are ways to be strategic about sort of what we would call like an umbrella brand with different goals below.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you.
I had a question here from Ashley. Is it possible to share your screen notes with us? We did not have screen notes. We were doing it on the fly, but we can absolutely, if you have specific questions, Ashley, we can speak to you about that. But I know that we can also make the presentation as it is shared as well. Yes, the presentation. Yeah, so I think a key takeaway for everyone should be, though, don't let it get complicated in your head. Like, simplicity is key. You want to be able to look at the brand book and not have to read a 20-page document. You just want to be able to look at it and go, yes, right. That's my focus. That's my core. Even if it's for a couple of different things, you want it to be something you can pull out and not freak yourself out with. If anything, it should be a document that's bringing you back home and is your compass kind of toward what your true north is.
Yeah, and I would just add, I think, there's so many business tools out there and they may feel like something you have to do, but these are tools that should work for you. So, this is a really great example of where if it's not feeling comfortable and you're looking at what you've put down and it's like, this isn't, no, maybe sleep on it and try the questions again at a different time of day or on paddleboard or,
Exactly.
because it's the time you put into getting it right is what makes it useful. We see that in cash flow statements, which is a sort of a totally different end of the spectrum, but it should be a tool that works for you, not against you. So I think based on today, it's a really good example of that as well.
And I think too, like, that's a good point, Heather. There are some folks who think they need to do like a 10-page in-depth like marketing strategy. That's overwhelming. That's even overwhelming to us as marketers to think about our own business. Like, what is your strategy? Sometimes the brand playbook is a simpler way to approach that. And you can make marketing and ad decisions based on what's in your playbook. So if it doesn't work for you, that's great. But sometimes it's a good replacement for, that big, scary marketing strategy that often people think a small business may need. There was someone who just said, I feel like my website has all this. Is it possible? Potentially, if you have your vision statement there and you have, what your differentiator is and you have your strong logo and all of that, it's possible that maybe you are in really good stead and way ahead of the game. That's awesome. Oh, you're on mute, Heather.
How does that happen? Any other questions or comments for Amanda or Jeff at this point? Well, great. So definitely extending the invitation again, drop in between 5 and 7 tonight at Castle Antiques if you're available. We're also doing another networking the beginning of April. So you can watch our social media for that. And I'll be posting the recording and I'll send it out before the end of the week. So if you want to refresh or zip through and revisit the questions, then that'll be available to you in the next couple of days. So,
and if anyone does want a one-on-one or a conversation with us, it's you can reach us at email, amanda@voimagroup.ca or jeff@voimagroup.ca.
Awesome. And I'll put those in the email when I send out the link for the recording too. So thank you for your time today, everybody. And watch for the March workshops. It's finance time. It's gonna be really exciting.
Oh no, you don't want us doing those.
All right, great, everybody. Thanks.